Alright guys, Damon, Black Warrior Lures. Cool shout out to Panfish. He's got a YouTube channel. Well, first of all, the thing I like about his videos, he seems to understand that, you know, you need to keep your shots short. Alright, and that keeps people interested as opposed to just this long, drawn out babbling and it never ends, you know. He put out a cool video about how to cure your chicken livers with a much simpler, easier recipe with just garlic salt, you know. I've never done a collaboration before, so why not like hook up with some of these guys? So here's what we decided to do. Put together some questions, answer the questions that we gave, and then we're gonna release them at the same time. First question, how long have you been making lures slash tackle? 2007 is when my dad died. Dad had been making floats ever since I was a kid. He would just whittle it down and, you know, it wasn't a very efficient way to make them. That's, I guess, where the seed was planted. Came around and I wanted to get back into fishing, and I had been doing some fishing from the bank, but I wanted to fish, I wanted to get out in the boat because I just saw that, you know, with the high banks that we have here in the Black Warrior River, I had to get off the bank. It's just not much good bank fishing around here. Decided to build a P-row, and Dad has spent 20 years building up a nice woodworking shop, and I said, well, you know, it'd be nice to spend some time with Dad. Literally the week I was gonna call Dad up and say, hey, let's build this boat, he died. I just had to build it on my own, you know, and that was, you know, although sad that he died, it was part of my sort of growth process as a person. I had to learn how to learn, right? And that's one of the reasons why you see me just doing things on my own without anybody telling me. I just go do it because I've had to. That began the process of learning the tackle make. At the same time I was building the P-row, I became interested in fly fishing. So I thought, well, that just kind of goes hand in hand. And so I bought some fly tying equipment. And those flies were ugly, man. But I remember the first fly I caught a fish on was a brown cat's whisker that I made. Cat's whisker is a bait fish imitation. It's one of the reasons why you see me tying streamers all the time. Caught the biggest crappie of my life. I don't know what it was. It was a white crappie. I was running the teeny lines and just dragging lures behind the boat and catching them like that. Just with those, you know, and that's sort of what, again, whoa. Oh, dude, being attacked by the oak tree, man. Boom! Now after I had fly fished for a few years, I became interested in fishing with floats again and started growing my own worms, which led into gardening, which was my other YouTube channel called Greenhorn Gardening. That led into, well, if I'm going to fish these worms, I'm going to need some floats. From about 2007, 2008, and that's when I remembered the things Dad had taught me about making floats. And I just simply took that and began to flesh that out. A couple of years of just experimenting. I experimented heavily one year, and then I took a couple of years off, then came back to it heavily again and had the main breakthrough that led to the floats that you see today. One of the earliest prototypes, I caught the biggest largemouth bass I've ever caught on a live bluegill that I had caught on one of the smaller versions of the floats, you know, so so that's how long I've been making, you know, I've just been around it all my life, really. All right, so second question, what's your favorite self-made item over that time? Favorite self-made item? Probably my shamag. You've never seen it. You've seen these guys over in the Middle East, they have their heads all wrapped up in rags and stuff, protect them from the sun. I have something like that. I've been meaning to do a video on it. Bought some camo fabric and just cut it out in a square, and I can just tie it up around my head. I just haven't gotten to it. So that's probably my favorite, you know. I sleep in it. I mean, I'll wrap my head up and sleep in it because it keeps your head warm. I wear it like in the summer because it keeps you cool. As far as the lures and the floats and all that, they're all about the same to me because I'm always looking at the next thing. And so it, you know, whatever I'm using today is probably going to be my favorite over what I was doing a year ago this time because I've had a whole year of growth and a whole year of research, a whole year of development, a whole year of learning behind it. And so it's just easier, you know. I'm just a do-it-yourself kind of person. It's something I've developed ever since I was in college, you know, building computers and things like that in college. And so what's the biggest fish you've ever caught? Any fish? King mackerel. Dad and I would go deep sea fishing, get that nice red snapper trip in, catching red snapper and triggerfish off the Gulf Coast of Alabama. They'd always throw out some bait fish way off the boat, just free drifting or, you know, free lining. Hooked into some big honking something, didn't know what it was. Big honking king mackerel, you know. I don't know how big it was. It was big. I was a kid, so the fish was probably like bigger than I was or whatever. Definitely stronger than I was, it seemed. How long have you been fishing? My earliest memory is falling into the water below Miller's Ferry Dam down in Camden, Alabama. 2 years old? I don't know. there's, there's, there's never a time in my life where I didn't fish. I didn't fish in college, which I deeply regret because I could have learned how to fish these waters much sooner. I look at family photo albums back when you actually had real film cameras and you had photo albums. I'm in a stroller on big boats and deep sea fishing vessels, and I'm just sitting there in the stroller and my dad's catching fish. I don't know anything else. All my life, I don't know anything else. It's just fish, man, you know. What got you into mud motors? Pretty much the same, again, it's just a developmental path, you know. I was fishing from the bank, had to get off the bank, built a P-row. With the current and the wind, I couldn't get upstream very far. That led to getting a John boat, oars, and so what did I do? I got an electric trolling motor. It wasn't any faster than the oars, so looking for a cheap outboard that I could run. And I was just gonna buy like a 2.5 horsepower Mercury, or you look at a 2.5 horsepower Mercury, it's like $864. In that same year, I needed a new lawnmower, like a new push mower. Bought a Honda powered lawnmower for like $350 or something. Why is it that a 5 horsepower lawnmower costs $330 and a 2.5 horsepower outboard costs $864? So I began in earnest looking for a viable economic solution. And I just knew that there had to be a way to take a lawnmower engine and bolt it up Acme style and run it as an outboard. So I dropped the idea for a couple years and just ran the boat with the oars and the trolling motor. That's all I used for a couple of years like that. Putting this thing on the back of the truck got old, so I got a trailer. I said, if we're gonna haul the trailer, we can haul a whole lot more weight. Why not let's go back and look at the motor? You know how it is nowadays. A couple of years on YouTube, this year, the thing you're looking for on YouTube, there's hardly anybody putting videos up on it. 2 years later, there's just like thousands and thousands and thousands of videos on it. Right? I kept hearing about this company called Swamp Runner, or SPS. I kept coming up with 3 companies. It was SPS, CLP, and KKK, with these kits that you could bolt onto what essentially was a go-kart motor, essentially a lawnmower, just horizontal shaft instead of vertical. I thought, and then I learned that you can buy a Harbor Freight engine for like $99, like 6.5 horsepower for $99. Remember what I was saying about the cost difference? I said, wait a minute, well, talking $500, I can have a 6.5 horsepower motor that's able to take me places that that the big bass boats can't even go. After reading more, I realized, wait a minute. This is a go-kart motor, and people can hop up these go-kart motors just like a small block at the drag strip. You know, I've been watching Drag Week all week over on the Motor Trend channel. You know, have a 12 horsepower motor for like $600 or $700, man. You know? And the truth be told, I started saving up some money, and my mom had asked me about something, and I told her I'm saving up money for a motor, can't buy that. And truth be told, she bought the motor for me. I had gone to Mr. Dobbs and talked to him, asked, hey, if I put this video on YouTube detailing how I put this motor together, can we work out something? He said, yeah, I'll give you a discount on future purchases or something. It was like I forget how much it was. I've long since used it up now. I bought extra propellers, I bought some tools, bought, various things and there's a great forum there, some great guys. These guys are building real drag motors for the drag strip. Really have explored how much power you can get out of these engines without sacrificing the reliability. That began the craziness of trying to get more power out of it, get high flowing intake and exhaust on it, rejetting the carburetor, and that just made the engine breathe easier. Ran it about a year like that. Talked to OMB Warehouse about, hey, I'm having, I want to do a stage 2, maybe stage 3 build with this motor, And so instead of doing one big long boring video, I decided to chop it up into smaller videos. People are going to buy these motors. 2, they're going to hop them up. And 3, I wanted to have a video document of how to do it right, how to do it safely, so that you don't go wasting money or getting yourself hurt out there. We're basically stage 3 now. We're getting 19 miles an hour, hauling about 500 pounds worth of weight. I have no idea how much horsepower it's producing now. Probably about 15 horse. But that's it. That's how I got into mud motors. Okay, so those are the questions. Check out Panfish. I mean, he has somewhat of a boyish. I think all guys who love fishing have a somewhat of a boyish nature about. Go comment on his video. And I'm like dead serious. Let's help some other people out too. And so I'll try to put the link in the description and maybe in the comments or whatever. We're releasing these at the same time. Hopefully it'll work. See ya.